This is one of several cases we've identified where police embarrassed innocent people, most of them in their own homes. And in 2 of those cases, we've yet to see taxpayer-funded body camera footage that, if released, would better help the public understand the full truth.
You snatched me outside naked like I was a criminal.
Before a Gaston County police officer embarrassed Shalanda Ashe
This is crazy.
in one of her most vulnerable moments last year.
It was the most humiliating thing I've ever experienced.
Oh,
Stacey Campbell says she experienced the same shame
no apology whatsoever.
in Raleigh. Questioned outside by an officer she says incorrectly thought her car belonged to someone else.
And she exposed the whole lower half of my body.
An officer who Campbell says then lifted up her bathrobe after already patting her down and finding no weapons.
It was frustrating. It was embarrassing. And it made me feel ashamed.
She's since filed a civil rights lawsuit. Short of telling us the department conducted a thorough investigation, Raleigh police won't say anything else, citing employee privacy law. And thanks to state law, the agency also doesn't have to release body camera footage unless a judge orders it.
I would love for it to be released so they can see how the police can just roll up on you, search you, expose you, and still get away with it.
To get police video in North Carolina, citizens have to go to the courthouse and file a petition, which costs money. Then they must argue their case during a hearing, and ultimately it's up to a judge to decide if release is necessary to advance a compelling public interest.
It's actually for transparency and accountability.
Despite the efforts of Ashe's attorney, a Gaston County judge denied her petition to release her video publicly, which means we don't know the full scope of how the task force acted as they searched her home for her sister, a murder suspect out of South Carolina.
I know I've not done anything wrong. I said, I'm gonna open my door with my hands in the air, show them, hey, look, I'm naked. And I step out a little. Now they're rushing towards the house with big guns, like pointed at me, and they're calling my sister's name.
We don't know everything they said or how they reacted when they found an undressed Ashe inside instead of her sister.
What I saw what happened with Miss Ashe is deeply disappointing.
Senator Mujtaba Mohammed has filed legislation in the past pushing for better public access to body camera footage.
The burden should not be on journalists and ordinary citizens and community leaders to have to petition a Superior Court judge, file formal documents and motions and go through that process.
And says he'll continue advocating for more transparency.
The burden should be on the law enforcement agency.
Hoping the political landscape will eventually change so his proposal can secure the votes needed to become law.
The community deserves answers. They have a right to know what happened because this is, again, about basic dignity and basic respect.
His 2021 bill would have required police to release footage publicly when requested after 48 hours. If agencies had concerns, they would have been the ones to petition a judge.
This will help build trust between law enforcement and the community at the end of the day.
But his legislation stalled in committee.
Every morning that I open my eyes, that's what I remember.
A little more than a year later, a judge refused to release Shalanda Ashe's video,
Y'all embarrassed me in front of my neighbors.
ruling he didn't see how it would accomplish anything other than trying to embarrass, rightly or wrongly, law enforcement without the proper context. Senator Mohammed says continued de-escalation training is also critical. A spokesperson for the Gaston County Police Department told us officers received training in de-escalation last year. Nate Morabito, WCNC Charlotte.